A very warm good evening. This is Arunfoot Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel on August the 28th, 2025. Welcome back to the channel on a day. I guess we as Indian football fans will not forget so easily, and it is a momentous day because there are multiple things that happened today in that Supreme Court room. And I think my worst fears, which I had hope. I had hope after what I heard on Monday. But if I see what was presented today in the court, what was discussed in the court, then I'm not clear where this journey will take us, and for me, FSL is gone. For me, Reliance is gone. Reliance is going to try and help Indian football, and it is the realities of thing. And let's see where we're heading, right? Renner says, Arunda, what did FSL along with the AIFF said today? Did it meant FSL are going to back off fully, or it meant they are giving opportunity for other investors to take on ISL from them? Do you think any big investor is going to pump in this much money, as the ROI is probably nil? People saying Adani, GSW, etc., but I don't think anyone would agree to pump in money. Can't FSL float the rights again for less money in the new tender? Renal, I go back to me, this is a very delicate situation for the AIFF, and because the AIFF needs to figure out how will it run Indian club football in the future. And to me, today, Reliance did what they most probably should have done earlier, and did it in a way, I would say, in style. But the question now is, how does a season come together? The other big point to me was today, some people have said they don't see it that way, but I do see it. The disrespect shown by the Supreme Court of India towards FIFA and the AFC, which I find disturbing, would be the least thing to say. But we go back to the whole conversation of law of the land, law of sports. We are having in that room people who call themselves lawyer, who are sitting in these chairs as judges, who are supposed to discuss and decide on a matter. And you clearly could see where are we going with this? So we're stuck there, no? Hi, Blue. We should call Maja Chacha to bid for 500 crore. He and his mate Shaji proposed. Let Shaji run the system. Yeah, I don't know if you can. Send kids, what is the proposal? What's up? The proposal is very simple. The proposal says that Reliance steps back from its rights per se, that it's, and let me quote what is under point 7, that FSDL, for its part, has agreed to waive its contractual right for first negotiation right to match under the Masters Rights Agreement dated 8 December 2010. Issue a no objection certificate to AIFF for the conduct of an open, competitive, and transparent tender in brackets or equivalent process. FSDL confirms that it shall not object to the exercise of rights in relation to the ISL by any new rights holder, brackets if any, during the subsistence of the MRA. FSDL has confirmed that it has duly discharged the July-September quarterly rights fee of INR 12.5 crore under the MRA on 18th August 2025. FSDL also agreed to advance the final tranche of the rights fee of 12.5 crores October-December if required by AIFF. That was said, right? That's the reality. That's where we start. And Blue, your question, will FSDL go where? Will they bid? I've said to you now multiple times, FSDL as an entity, that was the plan anyway, from Reliance and from Star, to dissolve it. So they're gone. They will help in the process. And let's wait and see what happens. Looks like the commercial deal will be gone for a lower amount, and FSDL might be looking for a better deal. See, and this is, this shows me, and the same Utsav you're saying, what do you say, Reliance has gone, they're just testing water to see who's going to bid at what price. No, who's going to bid? At what price? If you're going to bid 1 rupee and you take over the rights of Indian football, you might be getting the rights for 1 million football for 1 rupee from the AIFF. What's the value of the rights at this moment in time? What is the value of Indian football on television? What's the value of Indian football overall? It's a big zero, right? I don't think they will get any reasonable deal if AIFF still don't, but yeah, who will, right? If no one bids, then we will be absolutely cooked. Hannibal, and that's the situation, except if the clubs try and come together and build something. The onus is now on the Indian Super League clubs to come together and maybe form a collective and try, if they want to stay in the game. Otherwise, it's gone. If put 40, 50 crores as the base money in tender, no one gonna show interest. Akash, as I said, even if you put 1 rupee on the tender, who's gonna take the tender and try to turn it around? The product has been damaged by all over the last few weeks, months, years, right? We also have the whole thing with the betting companies, right? That is also a substantial amount of money gone, not only for football, but from the Indian sporting ecosystem. With the Big Four joining the tenders, could this indicate a move towards greater transparency, something that was missing with FSDL, and should we expect a green signal on Monday? Arnav, what is the transparency that you are missing from FSDL? At the time when FSDL came in 2010, Praful Patel begged Reliance to take the rights because he knew if there was any tender of any sorts, nobody would come forward. They put together a figure, 50 crores at the time was a lot of money. Still is for the AIFF because you can't raise 50 crores. So that's it. Reliance will either go away or will show ourselves just like they did to Kabaddi League, nothing in between. They're away, they've gone away, no? They've walked away, right? That's what they've done. If there is no bidder, they have full leverage, don't you think? Why are we talking about leverage? Where do you see the leverage? Right? What leverage? The product needs massive investment, you know? High on paper, global tender is good, but as we know, reality is different. According to AIFF Online, FSL don't want to continue with the AIFF that has Kalyan in it. What should dealing with Kalyan in it or not? Again, if you think that you want to deal with a different leadership than Kalyan Chaube in the AIFF, then maybe you could have waited and election, no election, whatever, something or the other would have happened. But at this moment in time, yeah, I mean, they've stayed longer than I would have thought they would. Northeast United honored by President of India. This is a great achievement for any club to be invited by President. Nadeem, on a day like this, seriously, this is what you gonna bring up, and then I was invited for the Victories in Europe by Sports Minister. Disgrace, yeah, disgrace on a day like this. But hey, because this is the topic we should be talk about. The Supreme Court of India, the bench today sitting there, has called FIFA and the international football order irrelevant. If it happened in another country, these gentlemen would be no longer sitting on the Supreme Court bench and most probably facing a charge anywhere else in the world. Which shows you the system, and we're talking about the sports tribunal is going to save us. No? So, yeah. Hi, Ishan. If the Supreme Court forces an election, will FIFA ban us? Shushanto, they have asked one thing. FIFA, AFC, in their letter has asked of one thing of this Supreme Court, to finally come to a conclusion of the Constitution case. Right? That was actually the mandate, 2017. We're in 2025. And what the FIFA letter says, and this has been misinterpreted by a lot of people saying that the current AIFF should stay in power and all that stuff. What the current AIFF's job should be is to ratify the Constitution. If it is conform with FIFA and AFC statutes, rules, and regulations, and thereafter they can hold elections. So therefore, for me, October 30th looks, difficult. The AFC and FIFA have given us a lifeline. They could have said 30th September, right? Normally, 30 days, a little over 30 days would have been fine. 30th October. So for me, what happened today has not taken us any inch forward. Does Reliance want to bid, or they have given up on Indian football? Anibal, to me, they've walked away today. They said Tata bye bye through the back door by saying, you know what, AIFF, try this, try that, because they themselves do not believe in the product anymore. Very, very dangerous. Right? Global tender will be a global embarrassing moment for us. Yes, Akash. Right? Octagon tried a global tender in regard to television rights, and again, nothing happened. No one will bid back to I-League era. Rudra, the problem is, at the moment we're talking about the ISL. We've totally forgotten about the I-League. I-League 2, I-League 3. Where are the AIFF plans for the women's national team in regard to preparations, IWL, this, that, everything? The AIFF from the 8th of December 2025 until the end of the season, you know, May 31st, 2026. We need those 25 crores they're not getting from Reliance, and they need more because they want to plan more. So therefore we are where we are. Body isn't keeping up the efforts and putting on the ball. Indian football is in shambles. Yeah, it's going to take my job. And yesterday, watch Man United lose to Grimsby Town. Don't tell it's going to get worse. Rishabh. Yeah. If you're a Man United fan, yeah, it's anyway not easy. Indian football on top of that. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Was the FIFA AFC letter discussed in court today? No, Achut, it wasn't. It was mentioned. And I feel that the courts in India need to know where their place is in regard to when it comes to sports. And the Supreme Court of India, the Delhi High Court, have done enough damage for now. And most probably, as I've said now for a while, it's for FIFA and AFC to step in. I think a normalization committee needs to be brought in, and then maybe clear house. That is my thought process. So let's see. Let's see where. Who will even bid for the rights even for half the price of it? Yeah. Good question. We're doing a watch along tomorrow. No, Ishan. Got work commitments tomorrow. So, we've been talking so much about off the field stuff. This, yeah. It just is the way it is, right? If AIFF is planning only a 6-month MRA extension, it's unlikely that any broadcaster would be interested in signing a short-term deal. One of my questions with the broadcaster, listen, we've got two options, right? If you want a broadcaster, there is Star, and on the other side, it's Sony, right? And otherwise, do you wanna go into the OTT space, like the ID gets done via SSCN? Is fan code an option? Right? So therefore, we'll have to see. In my opinion, now with the new tender getting floated, December ISL start looks distant. Which to me, a December start is anyway difficult in my opinion, because I would do it mid-Jan if you ask me, because then I would have 2 weeks of a transfer window and I can sort my squad out, right? And Yeah, and then work out something of I don't know how many teams are going to play. So that's the first point. But then you can do a full one round, one leg at least, and maybe do a zonal like you do in American sports. Get made to 14, yeah, maybe 15, 16 matches, maybe, and then I would love to see an expanded playoffs this year. The playoffs have always been the icing on the cake, and you know, yeah, let's see. So therefore, at this moment in time, um, yeah, very very difficult, very very difficult. FSTL generally will to stay with this administration. If not FSTL, then who? European level. Vishwajit, I don't have anyone, right? Baichung brought the Adanis into the space discussion. Don't see that. And other things, I don't know. FIFA ban loading in all probability. Don't fly to India on your experience this time around. They don't value your time and competence. Yeah, Ishan, that's that's also in my mind. Why spend time, money, and effort try to help people? And if I look at today again, the Supreme Court hearing, just not good enough. Just not good enough from all involved. Why do you think we're not getting to have any bidders? Let them float a tender and see what happens. Utsav, I don't live in La La Land. And I don't want your fake tenders to come in, right? It's like the AIFF saying, "Oh, you know what? We've gotten our rights back for the I League. Something or the other. Will this and that and whatever happened? What happened? How successful was that? We are in a very tricky situation. And to me, it's very difficult to see that we're going to be, So yeah, Bajaj Chacha saying government will invest 500 crores. The only people who should be banned from the system. Says Rene, is there any sports courts in this country? No, Anibal, as per the new National Sports Governance Act, there should be sports tribunals and they will be created, but sitting on them will be, you know, um, and yeah, Sorry, guys. To again link to family. I had to take a call. Yeah, where was I? Sorry, let me see. Yes, exactly. I was talking about the watch along. Ishan, no, as I said, I will not be able to do a watch along tomorrow due to other work commitments. Um, but and again, I don't even know how I'll watch it. I have to figure out how to watch the games. Let's see. If AIFF is planning only a 6-month MRA extension, it's unlikely that any broadcaster would win to sign a short-term deal. Yeah, enough looks likely. In my opinion, now with the new tender getting floated, the December ISL start looks distant. Yes, very true. Uchud, everything will stay with the solution. Yeah, Bishop, good question. FIFA ban loading in all probability don't frighten. Yeah, that was another point. And the third, we were there after banning on Dream 11. I think there is no one available in the market except FSDL. Your opinion, Lala? Vishwajit, yes. That's again, would Dream 11 be interested even? And again, that's the other question, right? Or anyone of that ilk. Supreme Court feels like they're the big guy in the world. FIFA is literally bigger than most of the courts. I don't know how these gentlemen became judges. Again, the problem is that there is no understanding, right? In the very often in the so-called judiciary, not only in India but in a lot of countries, to understand the law of sport. That's why I've said again and again that my concern with the whole sports tribunal thing is that if we don't create judges with an understanding of the rules and regulations in sports, understanding of sports for sports, then it is going to be very difficult. FIFA is irrelevant. Damn, these lawyers and amicus did a really shitty job to make people understand why this needs to be sorted ASAP. Everybody is for themselves. No one cares any football. Rushabh, do you? So my question is that the certain lawyers, the amicus, other people, do they really want the Supreme Court to understand these things? Which should be their job, but have they made them understand? Did the COA make them understand? Right? Again, if the COA had been smart, they would have most probably said, Onavo, you've come to us. We've understood what you said. Please, let's have a joint session with the Supreme Court judges, informally. Nobody needs to know, right? Didn't do it. So therefore, these people, sorry, no respect. Believe me, no one wants to invest in football, says Siddharth. Delhi FC took everything down with their dedication, says Hannibal. Why is it so hard to calculate numbers of views of ISL on TV, digital, and calculate the value of broadcasting? Utsav, because there is no value. The number of views on television and digital doesn't mean that that is your value to evaluate to make money out of it. There needs to be sponsors willing to put in money, right? And the broadcaster will tell you. I remember Star used to always say, it's like we're spending more in the production than we theoretically could be generating through ads. Supreme Court is becoming so arrogant day by day. They think they're above everyone. This is a major problem, says Raj. What's the point of planning ISL or Super Cup when Indian football could be banned soon? Shouldn't Kalyan and his team focus on fixing constitution or just worried about seats? Arnav, this is no longer in their hands. This is a Supreme Court problem, right? This is not a Kalyan Chaubey problem. My blood just boils when I see those scooter reels misguiding people on peak when it comes to PR. Rushabh, that, and if you see the sports minister now giving them a platform, then you know that there are a lot of things which are going wrong in the country at the moment. Anyway, the judgment will come before October 30th. Do you care if it was not respective FIFA? Will the judgment come before October 30th? The question is not if the judgment's going to come. I want to see the constitution. Is the constitution in line with the statutes and regulations of FIFA? And does the AIFF executive committee have enough time to either question certain things in the constitution, which I think should be their right, and then do they have enough time to seal it off? If the season starts around December, Jan, how would they finish it till May? That too with 14 teams now. Fiction nerd, we don't. How many teams are there, right? Inter Kashi has not been given a promotion formally, officially by the AIFF so far. Moment and Sporting seems to be, yeah. Are they there? Are they not there? What's with Odisha FC? Honestly, I don't know. We've got a lot of question marks about how many teams do we have, and if we are not going to complete a whole home and away season, that's clear, right? That is, for that to happen, the league needs to start in 2-3 weeks. That's not happening. Means what? They have to curtail the season and then figure out how to run with it. Clubs are not even getting jersey sponsors. Forget about league. Yeah, Raj, that's a reality. If the betting companies are out, who's going to put the money in? Reliance did this to show all the barking dogs their aukat and hope they will return as the only bidder and shut up these dogs. If that happens, nice. Will FSTL give away all rights of ISL names, social media handles? Nadeem, I don't know. Yeah. Will you be here or stop these Indian footy videos if FSTL pulls out? With FSTL, I had little hope in our footy. Better now. It's all gone. Tata, bye bye, Khatam. Then I you know, I'm not sure. For the moment, I'll continue. Right, I'll continue. I will try and talk about things because again, the case is going to continue, and we have a situation here. And the rest we'll have to see. I'm not sure. Again, I'm shocked to say the least about things. More than 37 minutes. Quick reminder to everyone who's watching, as always, like, share, subscribe arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. 9 likes so far. I think we can do much better, guys. We're at 2,847. Thank you very much. Yeah, slowly getting to the inching towards the 3,000 mark. And as I always say, watch the short videos. You know, what could AIFF, Reliance, FSTL present to the Supreme Court? A speculative thing. It was interesting. The ultimatum, Khalid Jamil's first squad. Look at the short videos. The hype function is also there. So do support wherever you can. Mr. Bajaj clip surfacing where he said Reliance is culprit. I hope this decision by FSTL shuts his mouth completely. Raj, it won't, no? So, you know, because Reliance walking away is a big hit. I was there. I was lucky. I was there when it all started. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, what happened, Banjab? The whole scenario in the Supreme Court, it's just shameful. Will the tender thing happen only if the constitution thing happen? Hannibal, it's not connected to it, right? So I don't, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Can foreign party bid for new MRA? Mayur, yes, of course. Anyone potentially can bid. Even you, if you have enough money, could bid for the rights. So therefore, everybody can bid for the rights. But yeah, how is it going to go? Pan Parag and Rajni Gandha will put in money, says Utsav. And you say Tajmal Asar with Ajay Devgan as main face. I think tobacco advertising anyway will not work. I know you said it funnily, but this is the problem. How would you debunk those scooter narratives about this Gothia Cup achievement? We'll send your thoughts to my friends who've got influence thinking it's some kind of messiah for Indian football. Rushabh, first of all, playing those tournaments in Scandinavia Those are recreational tournaments. Played 7-a-sides, 9-a-sides. You're playing multiple matches over a short period of time. Some of these teams are not even proper academy sides, or most of them are not academy sides. They're more of a grassroots teams, grassroots centers, integrative teams, where football is a tool, where football is not actually your supposed career. We have to ask the question about the age of the boys. Are they really under 14? Question has to be asked. No one is will you answer that question? And you're highlighting winning trophies and tournaments, which has no value. Ranjit, if you want to really prove how good these boys are, I invite you, come to Germany, play against the academy sides of Bundesliga teams, and let's see how good or how bad you are. Right? That will be a test. Play 90-minute matches. You're not even playing 90-minute matches, you're playing 40-minute matches. You're playing competitions within a short space of time, where these other teams are surely not always playing their best players, because in Europe, they don't play very often to win tournaments nowadays, but just to give exposure also to the boys. So these are all multiple factors which I would think are reasons behind it. But it is sad to see that it is being misused for things, and yeah, what to say. Title sponsor of ISL. Yeah, we've spoken about it. It was back like the old days where there was no broadcasts. One man has led to this. Yeah, not one man. But there are multiple people who are at fault. To me, the question is what effect does it have? Where do we go? What happens? What changes are made which are necessary to happen? Right? To me, that's the big question at this moment in time. I don't have an answer. Right? To me, that's will the ISL be gone? I'm not sure. So I think the clubs need to step up. I'm really interested to see if the clubs have some sort of thinking approach, what they could do, and so yeah, let's wait and see. Will the constitution be sorted at least before the second week of September, Rishabh? I don't know. Did the constitution topic is it wasn't even, at least while I was listening, it wasn't even discussed today, right? So not sure. Hypothetically, who can pick up the tender? Does this mean that Reliance is out of the Indian football space? PC Gamer Tag, anybody potentially could pick up the tender, right? So it could be you, it could be me. If you have, if you have the pocket money, so to say, to buy the tender, then you could do it, right? So therefore, for me, yeah, we'll have to wait. And again, as I say, we have to wait and see. But anyone with a little bit of common sense, given the realities of Indian football at this moment in time, would not pick up the tender, because it is a one-way street. You're going to pour in money, and the money is going to go somewhere far, far away. As I like to say, a black hole. It just goes one way, and it's not going to come back. And that's the question at the end of the day, which I have now, no? Which is, how can this work? And as again, I think it's on the clubs. If the clubs want to survive, if the clubs want to do something, yeah, they'll have to work very, very hard to build something here. Not impossible, surely possible. But the question is, what happens? So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Hey, Medan, for me, good to see you back. Really sad of how FIFA letter was totally sidelined today. Really scared. Yeah, I know what I mean. It's a shameful disgrace, and it shows you what I've said this. I don't know how many times on this show. the total lack of understanding how sports runs and operates. Today was a good example, right? How badly things are sort of being run or managed, let's put it this way. And therefore, for me, this is very, very difficult to understand how we can get out of this situation, because what are the solutions to that? Where is the solution to that? Attenders, right? I mean, the document presented today, and let me just quickly go through the points that I mentioned, right? So both sides, AIFF, FSTL, were told by the court on the 22nd of August to come forward. They met in Bangalore, senior people from both sides, and then they've come up with a solution, so to say, for the 25-26 season. Season will open through the Super Cup, even though now, sorry, I put out a tweet where I said September because it was said September, but it isn't September, so whenever that is done. And then transparent process of grant of rights. The FS has agreed to work on that, right? And they would engage independent professional firm of repute, one of the big four. So we're talking about Deloitte, EY, and Co. By 15th of October, that process would be concluded so that clubs, broadcasters, sponsors, and other stakeholders have a certain level of certainty. And with the consent of the AFC, I don't know why only AFC and not FIFA, they want to commence the league by December 2025. And FSDL has said, you know what? We waive our contractual right of first negotiation and right to match under the Master Rights Agreement from December 8, 2010. They would issue a no objection certificate to for the conduct of an open, competitive, and transparent tender. And FSDL confirms it not object to the exercise of rights in relation to the ISL by any new rights holder during the subsistence of the MRA until, so to say, December 2025. FSDL has already paid 12.5 crores and 10 days ago, and will pay the rest also earlier if needed. And this is what has been mutually agreed by both the sides. And and this has been given to the Supreme Court of India today. Guess I'm exiting Indian football media at the right time. Just sad state of affairs. Yeah. It's difficult being a Man United and at the same time following Indian football board in shambles. Yeah, basically I'm attack. Very, very bad to be a United fan and Indian football. Why did AIFF not bring in the new constitution up until now? It shouldn't have been hard to do. Nixon, the question is, do they want it? Yeah. And so, yeah. Good evening, Dark Knight. Welcome back. Bangladeshis pretend as if Hamza Chaudhry has come from their grassroots system. They troll India in every post on Facebook, Insta, but no Indian player in EPL and where is India, etc. Hanifal, why do you bother? Yeah, they have Hamza Chaudhry. You have to respect that. Has he come through the system? No, but again, he's a player of origin. He's their player, and we don't have a player. That's the reality. And we have to live with it. And Nixon adds, especially considering the pain that needs to be gone through now. Yeah, but there is more pain potentially coming, right? It's difficult being a Man United fan at the same time following in forward. Sorry, yes, you've said that already. And Kundan is saying same here. Judicial overreach, yes, Dark Knight. Yes, very, very yes, true. Also, it was unbelievable how Prashant Bhushan came in out of nowhere and declared that this AIFF is not eligible for MRA negotiations. How come such eminent lawyers don't read sports well? Methamphetamine, again, we have problems with our legal system, and I think that was very, very evident today, right? And therefore, the less said, I think, the better. Ashinegi just tweeted, Utanzi was indeed in one of the matches but still lost. Yeah, okay. They were leading but lost 3-1 against Iraq again. So Fancourt will broadcast CAFA Nations Cup. Man, good. For the Indian football fan, that's good. But it's an India match, no? I am not in the mood of talking about an India match here. There was some hope that something would come out, but even though I said to someone yesterday, I said, I don't have honestly a good feeling. I somehow see something coming out which is not really what I think you all are expecting, and sadly that has actually come true. And let's see, So yeah, India versus Man United, clown classico. Yeah, very sad to see. Ochu says, I think rest of the year is going to be very difficult for Indian football. Very difficult. Ochu is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And let's see. Do you think India is getting battered by FIFA over constitution issue? Kundan, they're not getting battered. I think FIFA has, over the years, been lenient with India, right? If they wanted, they could have banned us in 2018-19 was probably on when the hearing started. And 2022 even, they made an effort. They sent their top guys over. The AFC sent their general secretary, Windsor John, came. And now they've been, I've been saying this for a while. And yeah, we are where we are. Garib Delhi FC owner gets one of the most expensive lawyers. Anibal, Garib hai ya nahi hai? That's the question that you need to answer. Hey Abhijit, how can we say with this upcoming ban? My suggestions are all brought in NPL. Abhijit, yeah, maybe that's funny to you. Maybe sarcasm is your thingy. But in this moment in time where we are, I don't feel that I can, want to, will be sarcastic, right? To me, this situation is very, 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 very tricky. And we need to treat it with utmost seriousness. And I hope some solutions come out. Eminent lawyers or power brokers? Dark Knight, you decide what it is. Anyway, if you're curious enough to say a Khalid ball will be tomorrow, what will be your 11? I mean, as I love to say, I've not seen one training session. I don't know what Khalid has in his mind. Is he really realistic? Does he want to try out something tomorrow against Tajikistan? Or is he going to play safe? Again, normally Khalid plays safe. But I don't know who's going to play tomorrow. And I'm at this moment in time, given what has happened today, the conversations I've had, and yeah. I guess today all hope gone. Blue, not all, but we need dramatic changes. We need changes. We need leaders. We need people who can influence things in a certain way. So let's wait and see. Now only downfall will go on. I don't know. It is we're way down, and so day by day my interest is getting low watching national team matches. It's very frustrating. Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying this. Yesterday I did a really stupid thing and paid 100 rupees for United's AIFF Cup matches, thinking they'll make a comeback and win. Now it's time for the CAFA Nations Cup, or at least they managed to score 1 goal, says Rushabh. Hey, United at least scored 2, and scored a comeback, Not because we're not winning, it's because we can't play properly. Yeah, but man, if you want to see an Indian football team play properly, then you have to wait another 15, 20 years, most probably. right? So I'm fine with the wins. In all this, Devashish Dotto said something that is a scary reality. What else can we do? Achut, very hard. But maybe made a joke about it. Yeah, or it was sarcasm. Can you explain to me about FSTL pulling out all tender nonsense? Isn't anything new from FSTL? What is the tender nonsense, Ojit? Right? What's supposedly the nonsense? If you were listening to what was being said in the Supreme Court, if you maybe read a few things, why would Reliance stay? Is I think the bigger question. There are 5 crore case pending in courts, and they want to poke nose in everywhere. It says Dark Knight. What, according to you, would have been the solution to this? Orchan, I think it's not a one-off meeting which will decide things. I would have thought if Reliance, AIFF came together, spoke about things, and tried to figure out, where could they, work together and try and figure out where can they move forward together, right? Because I think the AIFF should be knowing that out there in the market, I don't see anyone coming forward and offering you anything suitable in regard to financials, bringing you a media partner, and helping you to grow. I don't like FSTL, but I wonder why didn't they sue Scooters, or have they? Rishabh, for them that is too small. They don't bother, and that is, I think, sometimes the problem. It's I don't know what to call it. Is it arrogance? Is it apathy? I don't know. No one is going to pick that tender. Reliance probably will. No one is going to invest in a loss-making business. PC game attack. Why would Reliance will? Reliance has said, "Listen, take it back. We're not interested in it." Hey Vikram, what's your take on today's decision? There is no decision, Vikram. That's the first problem. And what has been presented by the AIFF and by Reliance to open up and tender, let's see. So that's the problem. Reliance can actually sue the crab. Yeah, but he can, but they've never done, right? Even the AIFF didn't do anything. Can we say this is the worst AIFF management ever? Vikram, I'm not sure if I can't say over the years if there was anything like this. At least the last 27 years, if you ask me, yes. But earlier, I don't know what they were. No? What we can do in such critical situation, please tell us. Dark Knight, raise the topic. Be critical. Raise the topic of disrespect of the highest court of the country, disrespecting FIFA and AFC. Talking about this, that as fans of Indian football, you would like the ISL to continue. Maybe you would like the ISL to continue. And there needs to be a involvement of Reliance in some sort of form way. AIFF constitution case is not a new one. It's almost 7 years. Anjushri is joke. Yeah, no, it should have been sorted in 2022. And we're in 2025. Like where would we go from here? Simon, I don't know. It's, Scooter is spreading like plague, says Dark Knight. Can you summarize about where things stand today, leaving FIFA ban out? Ojit, Reliance has said, you know what? We're stepping back. Here are the rights. AIFF take it. Put it out into the public domain. Put it out in the public market. Let let the big four come in. And then we'll see. We're talking about Deloitte, Ernst& Young, we're talking about KPMG, we're talking about PricewaterhouseCoopers. They should put a tender process in place, and then a commercial partner could come in and bid whatever money and then try and run it. There are demons, and then there are scooter fanboys defending their daddy over anything and everything. Yeah, and it was very sad. The ban is inevitable, but still legally it is possible to sack this regime. Simon, the regime can only be sacked by itself in that way. If you want to take the football route, theoretically the Supreme Court could throw them out, but if the Supreme Court throws them out, then it is a third-party interference. But the problem with this regime is, at the moment, is that as long as the constitution isn't out, none of the steps which are needed are being taken. So we are in a situation of like, where are we? How can we move forward? How can we take the next step? Right? So that's the point. Wouldn't it be wiser from AIFF to propose a new offer to FSTL in response to the last offer FSTL made? This tender is just absolute nonsense. Makes no sense from AIFF point of view. Blue, I think at the end of the day, this outcome is a result of the Supreme Court getting involved. Right? So what to say? We're stuck there, no? We're stuck at the basics. We're stuck at things which we shouldn't be even talking about. So the problem is for the AIFF, whenever the AIFF had the chance to speak to Reliance and speak out of power, they didn't do it because they thought someone else will come around and give them the money that they dreamt of getting, which was never realistic. On one hand, we have influencers actually making people aware of something good and end up getting sued for crores. And we have this clown who has spoken nonsense over these years. Yeah, but that's Rishabh, that's the problem, right? And yeah, again, that's why I say we need to grow this community. I need your help on that. More people need to join in so that, we can spread the truth about Indian football, not, be blind followers of the game. I need your support on that. That's why I say I need your support on that. That's why I like the video, share the videos, so therefore, yeah, I need your help. So Reliance has backed out, and if someone picks the tender, there'll be a new entity. PC Game Attack, theoretically, yes. That's the game plan at the moment. But I ask you, any one of you here in this live, 27 of you, if you had the money, would you invest it in Indian football? I'll be honest, I wouldn't. As much as I love Indian football, but at this moment, no chance. India versus Tajikistan prediction. Sunil, don't know, 2-0, 3-0 Tajikistan. I don't know. I still remember Scooter actually said in a live stream, Steamer's treble was something to be appreciated. That's when I lost it. Knew this guy's a clown. I'm guilty for falling for it. Yeah. Rishabh, you're one of many, right? So sad to see. Sri Lanka draw 1-1 with. Yeah, that's the flag of Bahrain, Russia, but you meant Qatar. Yeah, that's a big draw. Now I'm damn sure the Supreme Court verdict is going to be rushed and one which brings more dissatisfaction, confusion, and an actual solution. Simon, I don't know if it's going to be rushed. If the Supreme Court doesn't take the FIFA deadline sort of seriously, why would the Supreme Court then suddenly rush and do things? Simple. When will the AIFF election be held? If it's not held by October, what happens? The election is not the key point for FIFA and AFC. They want the constitution, the new constitution, cleared before October 30th. And I jokingly said that October 30th is a good day to clear or get things cleared because it's my birthday. So now, yeah, let's count down to my birthday in 2 months. Let's wait and see what happens. FSL knows that everyone will stay away from the tender. It's like COVID plus. So after that, will it goes back to initial offer from FSL of FSL saying us, see you later, alligator. Ojit, yeah. If your hope is that, then let's see. Right. The only way is if they resign, which is utopian. The other is to somehow mingle with FIFA and remove the ban, basically 22 all over again. Yeah. The situation also shows how much the mainstream media get down to the drain nowadays. They don't care about anything important. I guess maybe they would get activated if ever president was Muslim. Maybe, I don't know. They're only news nowadays, yeah. Which is worse, with treble or too much trouble? Too much trouble at least has some quality, What's the exact same reason many good internet are backing off this failing mess? Says Simon. Dada, please implement our suggestions, thumbnails, and title stuff. I'm pretty sure it's nonsense. If nonsense guys can pull some good views, then your channel will definitely grow. Yeah, I know, but I need some help with that. Someone can actually properly instruct and guide me, most probably. So that's what Mr. B wanted. He was once in and doesn't like the answer and the former entity, entire everything. Yeah. If hypothetically some entity comes in, is it sure that it will leave within some years and again we will same situation? Raj, that's the tendering process, right? I can get, I don't know. How do I see it? If I have a tender process and say, listen, I'm going to run the thing for 5 years, 10 years, and then I go. I mean, that's how it works in sports, right? We've had a lot of things which have worked via tenders over the decades. So yeah, that's something which is there, and we all have to sort of live with it, given the realities. You are right. I thought maybe they will rush it since the amicus raised the issue. The amicus is not rushing anything. Good evening, Aditya. Welcome back. Hi, SCT. Supreme Court acts like they know about everything. It's frustrating. Yeah. There's never a dull day in Indian football, all for the wrong reasons. Simon, that's something that it is. Sri Lanka, yeah. Now you've got the Qatar flag, Rushwa, yes. That's right. I did try Rusha, but it got rather worse than better, in my opinion. It's better if we talk about normal football instead of Indian football. I think if things are not finalized on Monday, there's going to be a ban. I saw the attitude of the court towards the FIFA letter. Aditya, yeah, that's a disgrace. Then every year we will give tenders. Raj, no, I don't. I think if there is a tender, I think it would be, I don't know the tender period, but I would think it would be a 3-5 ideal case 10-year tender. If no one bids, Scooter will say Reliance has told people in the industry not to bid. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Could be a danger for the food. Going back to Stone Age, Dark Knight, at the moment, it feels like it. It feels like it. I think it's all over, Arunda. For an optimistic person like me, I'll raise my hand. I think with FS still showing behavior like this now and then is going to be over. Yeah, that's not. Your thoughts on Schalke? Will they get promoted? Rishabh, Schalke 04. Brilliant start to the season. So to me, I don't think so. But let's see. For me, they were rather a team fighting for survival than promotion. But I could be totally wrong. So who knows? Sorry. Where did I go? There. I'm hearing ISF funding may start. Is that a realistic possibility? If the problems are at least somewhat get solved, I'm not seeing any enthusiasm. Club owners want sponsors or podcasters. I'm hearing. Where are you hearing this, Abhijit? If there is no commercial partner, if there is no broadcaster, how are you going to start the league? Why would you start why would you? Right? The same people who hijacked in 22 are doing the same thing here and right now. Yeah. India lost to Iraq 1-3, yeah, while Sri Lanka drew Qatar. Very true, Rushwa. FIFA on its way to make Indian football relevant. Real gaming, FIFA doesn't need to do that. We have done that. Nobody needs to say we are irrelevant. So if anybody has done it, it is Indian football who's done it, right? We have harmed our own interests more than anybody else outside has done. Keep trying try different tools. That's what I do in my job. If one tool doesn't fix my code, I jump onto the other. Rishabh, I've tried 4 or 5, and I'm not an expert. I've looked at certain things. I can say publicly, I use Canva to do those. So if anyone has an idea what to do, what to use, more than welcome to try it. By the way, in my opinion, getting banned is the only way now. Rather than this slow death, it's better to completely rebuild it. Yeah, yeah. Blue, I think that's been now my opinion also for a while. I think that's the only way it can. And I guess it's going to happen. That's also. Simon says, so plus 15 years, minus 15 years equal to 0 net progress, and we're headed for nowhere. Congrats. What's the significance of null fear in German clubs like Leverkusen and Schalke? The year of their foundations. Both these clubs, both these clubs. Bayer Leverkusen founded in 1904. And Schalke also. Now, there's not even Dream 11 like betting apps to sponsor. Raj, forget Dreaming 11 and all the others. Yeah, but it's another problem, not only for Indian football. Why does Rava support corrupt FIFA over the Indian Supreme Court? Anish, I don't support corrupt FIFA. I support the rule of sports law, right? And maybe that's difficult for people to understand. But the Supreme Court is not supreme in the matters of sports. And that is very interesting. That has been, to some extent, mentioned in the new National Sports Governance Bill. So therefore, these are the realities of things, and we'll have to wait and see what happens, right? We will have to wait and see what happens. Indian football is like a person who's drug addict and who's, even after visiting the therapy center, they're the same they were. Okay, but getting banned costs us more. No FC competitions, direct sports gone. Raj, I think short-term pain is long-term gain in this situation. As tough as hard it might be, but if you want us to have a better system down the road, that certain people are out of this game, then I would say it's better for us to try and face this situation. Arunda, what is Prashant Bhushan doing? What is not doing things in long term? Everything is done in long term, and this big question, who brought him there, is it's like Undertaker. I think I have no clue, and I don't. These people shouldn't be there. Again, for me, I would like to have lawyers discussing this issue who got a little understanding of the sport. If Rahul Mehra goes to the Supreme Court of India and says, you know what, in April it's hot, the players can't play. That's why by the end of March the season has to end. The gentleman doesn't know sport. April, May, we've played football. Not only in the last few years, but we've played football over the decades. Supreme Court thought they are the god of everything. That's why AIFF got banned 22 for these ignorance. He goes, yeah, right game, I tried it. I went to the COA. I got myself abused for that. And this is what it is. We're in the same situation again, right? And I have said, and I will say this again and again and again, we will need FIFA, we will need the AFC to step in, because from inside India, nothing has happened. Gambling ban will cost 100% of it. To me, I think sports betting and gambling maybe we don't need to put it into the same bracket because there are problems, right, with those games and whatever. But by pushing sports betting into an illegal space, I feel, first of all, the government of India is losing out on taxes, and you're not supporting the system as well, right? So it doesn't make sense. Your thoughts on Leverkusen this season? Will they fall apart, or can Tanak build them up again? Rishabh, they're still signing players. Signing Vasquez, for example, wow, world class signing, and they have the potential to turn it around, I think, but it might take a little bit of time. That person who always wanted to see I-League top league in India really messing things from behind. Yeah, Vishal, not only that, but where is the I-League? My simple question, where is the I-League? If I had any superpower, the first thing I would do is to scrap this AIFF mess altogether, or better, revamp and reset, but that still cannot guarantee a sustainable future such as a state. Yeah. Supreme Court is supreme in India, not in the world. Gaming says, I can't see a girl's heart broken. Aditya, I understand that, but yeah, I don't know. Prashant Bhushan is representing Delhi FC, which is directly related to that wannabe Indian football messiah, says Vishal. But then it was the same stuff. It is different now, Raj. It is not the same, but yeah. Prashant Bhushan is the person who puts his hands in every case now and then, says Raj. Ananda, I think if this time we get banned, it will be like an original FIFA ban, which will live for months on our face like a stain. It needs to be. Aditya, I think it needs to be. I think it needs, as I say, I think it needs a ban. But it not only a ban, I think it needs a ban in the combination with the normalization committee that from the outside, FIFA, AFC step in, take over, run the thing, and then in the mid to long term, we have a solution. Maybe that ban needs to be for I don't know, 12, 18 months, right? We will lose a lot in the short term, but we need to clear out. I've accepted this fate. I'm ready to face this situation if this somehow sparks any light to enlighten down this dark tunnel, says Simon. To be honest, Supreme Court actually thinks they are God, says Blue. Raj agrees. The seriousness of Supreme Court is seen when they're more concerned about dogs, but not lacks of pending cases. Yeah. Could have made betting highly regulated rather than banning it. 100%. Regulated, and get the money in from taxes. Very simple. I blame Rahul Mehra for this mess. He's one of the persons. There's not one person. There are multiple persons to blame for this mess. Voldemort is moving to Newcastle. Your thoughts? Voldemort to Newcastle? Where did this come from? I haven't heard this. Voldemort, yeah. One of the most exciting young players, but I don't know if he's gonna move to Newcastle. Bayern Munich are still in the game, so let's see. Let's see. So ban will come after 30th October till time given by AIFF or FIFA. Vishal, the ban is not a given. The AIFF has till the 30th of the October to sort out things. So therefore, for me, you have a little over 2 months to sort out stuff. And now the challenge is for the AIFF to do whatever is needed to avoid the ban, right? For me, that's the question at the end of the day. Can the AIFF do what is necessary to avoid the ban, or can't they? We are banned on 15th August, the day we got independence. This was perfectly thought and made by FIFA to show us how arrogant we were in that moment. Everything got shattered. Yeah, but we've not learned our lesson, Aditya. That's the point. If we are banned on the 15th August and the priority of the government at the time was to ensure that the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup happens because it puts us in a good light. Yeah. Why Delhi FC involved in the case and why he suddenly come up from nowhere? Also, why Supreme Court didn't punish the club for giving false info to court like FSL chose. Blue, it's not the club, it's the person who's involved, right? So Ranjit is involved. Ranjit is one of the original people behind Raul Mehra. And yeah, so, and wrong information given. Yeah, again, for the Supreme Court to be able to understand what wrong information is being given, they need to understand what's right, what's wrong. So yeah, maybe that's why, since Ananda knows the power of FIFA and Supreme Court, that's why he supports FIFA. Yeah. Raul Mehra and Ranjit Bajaj would rescue Indian football. Anish, they're destroying it. Right? Raul Mehra has been fighting for the inclusion of athletes in sporting bodies. After Kalyan Chaube, yeah, you know, that he should know not the way forward. And what Ranjit has been doing, congratulations for destroying our football. Yeah, we need this ban, and FIFA or AFC should take charge of AIFF. Right? Yeah. Tumors need to be removed from AIFF, says Dark Knight. Yeah, Rag Singh, yeah, a lot of people. Ranjit Bajaj was called out on Twitter and got exposed. That's why he went to Instagram, where gullible people like Anish exist, and yeah, he got what he wanted. Yeah. A Paki player has signed with Q player. You do know, Hannibal, that calling someone a Paki is an abuse in the UK. So I would advise you not to say that. Let people understand that we were trying to organize something and suddenly we lost everything for this stupid ban. Does anyone got a clue here? Anyone? Yeah. So a few months ago when I asked you about FIFA ban, then you said it cost us more. Now you're agreeing on FIFA ban. Raj, opinions change. And, you know, to me, 6 months ago, the situation was different, right? We are at a stage at this moment in time where I don't see us internally sorting out stuff in Indian football. If you ask me. So therefore, in my opinion, yeah, I think at the moment a ban is the best thing that can happen to us. With all the collaterals, AFC Asian Cup qualifiers, ACL2, maybe even the women's and the under-20s. As bad as it sounds, but that's the reality at the moment. Ranjibaj is having personal interest in this case. He wants ASL to be banned. People don't get fooled. He's no better than Kalyan Chaube. Yeah. Imagine after getting banned on 15th August, India may get banned on 2nd October, Gandhi's birthday. Blue, 2nd October not happening because the timeline is 30th October. So think about it, 30th October, my birthday. Yeah, think about it, crazy. And some people still prefer the early days to be back. Well done. Yeah, Simon, that's the thing. Mr. Jha talks about promotion relegation, but when he got relegation, suddenly moved Delhi High Court. And this is the hypocrisy of this whole thing, right? Again, if you're promotion relegation is fine. But then if you're hit by it yourself, then live by it, right? Okay, didn't knew that. Okay, what didn't you knew, Hannibal? FIFA has given us a lot of time. FIFA could have said 30 days, sort it out by the end of September. They've given us 2 months. So therefore, let's see. Time doesn't just pass, but it flies by. So does opinion, says Simon. Yeah, very true. Things are bad when Ananda is agreeing with the ban. Yeah, a ban is always the last resort. And if I see the people running around, it's a disaster. You think any billionaire is interested in football or ISL other than Reliance? No, Vishal. If someone is there to do it, I hope it comes forward. But I don't know anyone at the moment, Don't forget, guys, Indonesia was also banned, and where they are now, sure it's due to origin players, but still. Russia, origin players, but the under-17s also went to the World Cup. So they've done stuff in grassroots youth. Eric Tohir has done a lot. So they are working they're trying to merge the system in the middle, right? They're working on the top, they're working on the bottom at the grassroots, and they're trying to merge it here. We're working on nothing at the moment, right? Last time when ban came Supreme Court, blamed everything on COA, which was appointed by them. Yeah, Dark Knight. That's the thing. No, that is, we come back to introspection and taking accountability, which at that level doesn't seem to be there. If you see how they listen the case, it is so way, way from reality. I think Sanjeev Goenka Apichi can take over the ISL. Vishal, why would he? I mean, it's an idea. Then people might say, hey, JSW might do it, or hey, they might do it. None of them, you know. So to me, Mr. Goenka has not come in on his own. Mr. Goenka has come in. The Tatas have come in, right? Other corporates have come in to set up teams, you know. So it's a golden era of Indian football. SAR, I-League SAR. Yeah, Hannibal. Well, Delhi FC will relegate either way because SC Bengaluru will go to cast for this relegation. So that's a very, very interesting added angle you're giving. And remember, this time we don't have a Praful Patel to do the politics to convince FIFA. Simon, do you know that Praful Patel, whatever people have said, but Praful Patel actually tried over the years to convince FIFA not to ban us. So again, and it was said that he got us banned. So therefore, this he got us banned is so far away from reality that nothing is gonna. We're so far away. Can Tata's come in picture after Reliance Adani is a big player? Raj, Tatas are there because of Reliance. Listen, the Tatas have been running the Tata Football Academy since the 80s. Mr. Dasmunchi, I don't know how many times tried to convince him to become an NFL and then an I-League team, right? And they even won the second division in 2005 or 2006, and they didn't take the promotion. They stayed in the second division league. So Tatas are out of the question, and Adani doesn't want to take it. Is there any other entity to take ISL head, or if new AIFF committee is capable of pulling things for India football betterment? Sagar, I don't see any entity at the moment. I might be wrong, but at the moment, I don't see any entity willing to come forward, taking things forward and trying to build something. That's my knowledge as we speak on the 28th of August, on the evening of the 20th of August. Things might change, right? Opinions might change, as I said a little about the FIFA ban. But to me, we need to see what happens. And I'm not sure. Right, 1 hour, 28 minutes. Quick reminder, if you haven't like, share, subscribe, arunfoot here on YouTube, visit my other social medias, videos. 16 likes only, I think. Guys, I need your support. I hope Cass delivers justice from SC Bangalore, yes. I hope so as well. Nothing came out from the first ban. Nixon, FIFA played game with India, with the government, right? Because the under-17 Women's World Cup was coming up. And therefore they were game. But this time nothing is going to happen. We lost our right for U17. Our club suffered and so many bad things happened. The thing is we didn't learn anything from the ban. Yeah, Aditya. If this case goes to custody, it would be over by now, says Rio Gaming. Mr. Goenka is not rich enough to run a 30-40 USD every year like Reliance says. Hannibal. Kushal Das, Profute was still better in some way. Vishal, they were much, much better, you know. I always say, a lot of people didn't understand what Kushal was trying to do, what Sunanda Dhar was trying to do as a league CEO to keep the system running. The biggest challenge in Indian football, as we can see now, is to keep the system running every day. Biggest challenge. And that is what they tried. So, yeah. Perhaps people were too harsh on Profut because, yeah, Aditya, yeah, they were. Dual top division was running, but due to Profut Patel, sir, we were not banned by FIFA. Indonesia was banned for this. Dark Knight, Profut Patel and the Ambanis, with the help of FIFA, were able to avoid it. And they allowed us 2 leagues after each other. But it was always, again, and yes, Mr. Patel did make a statement in 2014 that the I-League would remain the top league, which Again, he should have never made, but he did make. And then things changed down the road, right? So we need a new commercial partner and also new AIFF committee and president. So a full renew of Indian football. Yes, Vishal. I already feel for the girls. Listen, one thing you guys need to also remember: the AIFF said they would have a plan ready and present it and work on it to for the preparations. Have you heard anything? You know, yeah. The biggest problem in India is people are lazy. They just listen to the loudest voice and make many heroes villain and vice versa. Maybe not only India, but especially India. Just be grateful. Bro, it is a problem of these times. And Adanis are not even into sport business, and the thing is going between him. Share messed up. It's not good for his future. Hannibal, they are in sports. So to say there is Adani sports line, so to say they're not in sports is wrong. How some people know the conversation which is private and spread own conspiracy theories which has misled many fans and made fans give hate to general people. Raj, that's the problem, right? Again, think about what we were discussing over the last 3 days. How far away from reality we were in discussion, because we're thinking, oh, you know what, they're going to work out something. Oh, you know what, 3 years, 5 years, yeah, ISL saved. Far from reality. Then we need professional people in new AIFF, otherwise we're doomed for a long time. Sagar, 100%. You know, Baichung should propose and support that Indian football can be a great money laundering machine. We should ensure it is 100% investment, says Rushabh. What is the deal offered by Reliance? Is it profit sharing model with no money offered? The original Reliance deal was to say that the new entity would be 60% owned by the clubs, 24% by Reliance, 16% by AIFF, and theoretically losses and profits would be shared. AIFF couldn't because they're society, so that would be taken care of by Reliance, but otherwise profit and loss. And again, we're talking about profits. We should be talking about losses. Right? That's also reality. The biggest achievement of Profit was to somehow convince FSTL that ISL will be profitable and they will definitely not going to come in a bad position in 2024. Aditya, I think it was a different conversation, right? Because he convinced Reliance to come on board in 2010 and try to build Indian football. They tried to make the I League into a more viable proposition in 2011, 2012. The clubs fought with whatever they had against it. Reliance in 2012 started thinking, you know what, if the clubs don't want it, we might have to think about an IPL, EPL, American Pro League model. And that's when the ISL was born, 2013. They realized 2013 we're not going to be able to do what we need to do. So therefore it was postponed to 2014. And then 2014, the whole thing took off. And where we are in 2025 is, yeah, a sad reality of things. Prashant Bhushan said Kalyan Chaub is there for only 3 months running AIFF by court order, but it's over 2 years. And now today he's reminding the court about this. Vishal, the court has never been the deciding factor on the length of the tenure of Kalyan Chaub. Theoretically, I remember FIFA said 6 months, and then they should, you know, sort out they said you have 6 months to sort out the constitution and then do a new election. So the problem is not Kalyan Chaub. The problem is the Supreme Court of India. If election held, FIFA will ban India because it counts as a third-party interference. Yes, Ishan, that's why I'm saying that the old AIFF needs to ratify the constitution, and then under the new constitution, you need to elect a new committee. Adani Blue Tigers, Adani ISS, Hannibal, just how did portray to all these unfulfilled promises? Why was my mind so fragile 4 years ago? Is it because our standards have fallen, or was I expecting too much? Maybe a combination of these and maybe of also other factors. I would think those are the reasons. The ideal scenario, FIFA bans us for the long term, new regime comes and starts from bottom, U17 senior national team can and hopefully fails, but in reality, reports of a barely escaping ban. I don't think so. It's going to be difficult. It would be better if Mohun Bagan send their players for national team matches. They said 2 matches now in shambles. Yeah, Vishal, 100%. That's another thing, but Who's going to talk about it? Right, 1 hour 35 minutes. Slowly come to an end for today. Yeah, it's a sad day and the way the things went, but at least we know where we are now. Now it's on a lot of people to try and sort out things. Once more, the reminder, 30 people, 31 people watching. Like this video, share, surely do some smaller video on this later on. Subscribe if you're new, if you're listening, if you like what we're talking about. 2,848 at the moment. Thanks a lot. We need to grow the community. I need your backing to be stronger. So I can, again, as I do with a lot of people, talk to people, try and influence people in a good way and try to push things in the right way. And let's see where this goes. And and to be honest, Supreme Court of India and the ones who were behind the case did much more harm than even Kalyan Shobha. Even Kalyan was byproduct of them. Exactly. And Dhruv, that's very right, And Goku, Adani is not even in the game. So let's not even get into that discussion. As always, gute Nacht. Yes, we need to grow all together. Simon, I need your support. Watch the other videos, hype my videos, watch stuff on my other platforms. And still, it's a bad day, it's a bad night. But we can't stop supporting Indian football. Thanks a lot and good night, everybody.